Hi there, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer based in Helsinki, Finland. In this video, I'm gonna take a look at the Sigma 30mm f1.4 lens for the Micro Four Thirds system. I'm sorry about this, but before we can continue, I have to say two things that I forgot to say when I was out there making the video. First, this lens is on loan from the Finnish importer Foca, but I'm not getting paid for making this video. I just make this because I want to share this with you guys. And the other thing is that please consider subscribing to my channel if you like this content, and also tap the bell down there so you won't miss any of my future videos. I'll publish a new video on Tuesdays and on Fridays. And now back outside and back to this lens. This 30mm f1.4 is part of what Sigma calls the f1.4 mirrorless trio. The other two lenses are 16mm f1.4 and 56mm f1.4, both of which I have a separate video. I'll put a link below. Please take a look if you're interested. These three lenses form the classic 3' setup that's been the toolkit for many photographers for many decades. And even today, it's a good basic setup. But now is a good time to check out some images that I shot on this lens. I think Sigma has done a good job with providing us such a great 3 lens kit. For us Micro Four Thirds shooters, it's not that big of a deal, but I think many APS-C shooters will appreciate this even more because many camera manufacturers have neglected their APS-C or small sensor cameras when it comes to lenses. The other two lenses of this trio, the 16 and the 56mm, they work much better on Micro Four Thirds than this 30mm, in my opinion. I find this a little bit odd. It's a bit too long to be a standard lens, and it's a bit too short to be a real telephoto lens. However, if the focal length is a bit odd for Micro Four Thirds, the size and weight are perfect for the G9 camera body. This lens feels like it was designed for this camera body. The mechanical construction of this lens seems very decent. The exterior is some sort of plastic or composite material. The optical construction is 9 elements in 7 groups. And the weight is 289 grams with the hood, and the hood is included, which is very good. Enough of talk, let's look at some pictures. There is no mention about any kind of weather sealing on this lens, which I think is a bit odd, because the other two lenses, the 16 and the 56mm, they have some kind of weather sealing. And I think if these 3 lenses are meant to be as a kit, it limits the use of some parts of the kit if one lens or the one part of the kit is not weather sealed. Also, this lens has no image stabilizer, but that's not a big deal because almost every modern Micro Four Thirds camera has IBIS, and that takes care of the stabilization. What about the optical quality then? I find this lens pretty awesome in that regard. Of course, it's not perfect, but it's really great. The sharpness and contrast are really good throughout the aperture range. Of course, if you stop down a bit, you get a little bit better sharpness and contrast, and the diffraction kicks in at somewhere around f8, f11. But all in all, it's a very sharp lens, and you should be able to make great images on this lens. The distortions and chromatic aberrations are not a big problem. However, I saw some so-called bokeh fringing, but it was nothing extreme and it's pretty normal for a fast prime like this. Also, the vignetting is not a big problem, and I think that's because this lens covers a little bit larger APS-C sensor and the vignetting is sort of left outside of the micro four thirds area. But it's all about the pictures, of course. Now let's take a look at some pictures. I find this a very good lens for any micro four thirds camera. The build quality is good and the optical quality is good as well. And the price is about 300 euros or dollars. The only downside is the lack of weather sealing, which normally wouldn't be a downside for this price, but because the other two lenses, the 16 and the 56mm, have some sort of weather sealing, I think it's a downside on this lens that it doesn't have any. But nevertheless, if you're looking for a fast standard lens for your micro four thirds camera, I think you want to take a look at this before you buy anything else. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.